Space for most people, the word conjures up images of awe and wonder, vast expanses full of stars, planets, and galaxies exceedingly far away. Space represents adventure, discovery, and the great beyond. However, for some people, space is absolutely terrifying. The infinite blackness induces panic and fear. The silence, isolation, and lack of control are too much to bear. This extreme fear of outer space is known as astrophobia. Astrophobia afflicts a small percentage of the population, but the effects can be debilitating. This article will explore the causes, symptoms, and treatments for astrophobia to shed light on this relatively unknown phobia. Additionally, the magnitude and wonder of space will be described to provide perspective on why the heavens can seem so daunting. With understanding and proper coping strategies, people with astrophobia can potentially overcome their intense anxiety about the starry skies. What is astrophobia? First and foremost, astrophobia is classified as a specific phobia. A phobia is an irrational and intense fear reaction to a specific object or situation. Other examples include arachnophobia, fear of spiders, or acrophobia, fear of heights. Phobias cause immediate anxiety when the person is exposed to the source of their fear. Astrophobia sets in when confronted with themes or imagery related to outer space. Simply thinking about or looking up at the night sky can trigger an astrophobic response. The level of fear experienced is disproportionate to the actual threat posed by space. Logically, staring up at stars millions of miles away will not cause harm. But for phobias, logic does not apply. Astrophobia belongs to a category of space-related phobias, including claustrophobia, fear of enclosed spaces, and agoraphobia, fear of open spaces. The root cause overlaps. The vast emptiness of outer space represents both an enclosed environment in the void of a spaceship and an open environment extending endlessly in all directions. This paradoxical vast openness and confinement evokes visceral panic. Additionally, the loss of control from being detached from the ground evokes unease. Stars, planets, satellites, meteors, and various celestial phenomena become threatening. The sheer magnitude of space and one's insignificance within its vast expanse becomes overwhelming. Symptoms and signs. The symptoms of astrophobia align closely with those of other phobias and anxiety disorders. The primary manifestation is an intense sense of fear when triggered by thoughts or images of outer space. The amygdala, the brain's emotional control center, becomes hyperstimulated, signaling a fight or flight response. This reaction would be appropriate for immediate physical threats, but not for the abstract concept of space. Those with astrophobia cannot control their panicked response despite realizing their fear is irrational. Common physical symptoms include nausea, trembling, sweating, shaking, and a racing heart. These reflect the body's preparation for evading danger. Astrophobics may experience difficulty breathing during an episode. Anxiety can reach a peak, causing hyperventilation or asphyxiation. Claustrophobia and acrophobia fuel the perception of having no air or being unable to catch one's breath. The person fears passing out or suffocating when no real threat of this exists. Psychological symptoms primarily include dread, terror, or panic. The individual is consumed by thoughts about losing control and feels an urge to flee despite having nowhere to escape. Standing outdoors at night may generate unease from seeing the sky's expanse. Television shows or movies about space often induce intense discomfort. Even planetarium exhibits can prove too much to handle. The fear occupies the person's entire focus when encountering triggers. In severe cases, full-blown panic attacks arise. These involve debilitating terror, chest pains, dizziness, and disorientation, making it difficult to function. Sufferers describe feeling detached from reality, trapped within an endlessly empty void. Panic attacks reinforce the control loss astrophobics dread most. Additionally, sufferers sometimes experience nightmares involving the vastness of space. Waking up disoriented from these nightmares contributes further anxiety. Overall, astrophobia manifests itself both physically and psychologically when triggered. The symptoms match a deeply ingrained fight or flight response. Identifying these symptoms allows astrophobics to better manage episodes and therapists to design treatment approaches. Causes and risk factors. Like many phobias, astrophobia often links back to childhood experiences. The common supervised age of onset is 7 to 9 years old. Having an impressionable young mind likely contributes to developing this phobia. Vast outer space contrasts sharply with the comfortable confines of home. A child watching a scary film about aliens or astronomy before having matured enough to process this rationally may ingrain subconscious fear associations. Witnessing older siblings or friends react fearfully to space-related entertainment can also transmit phobias to children. Even parents transferring their own unease about space can rub off on kids. These early exposures to frightening concepts about the cosmos can solidify into lifelong astrophobia. Traumatic events likely present another risk factor. If an individual has a panic attack in a planetarium, for example, it may cement subconscious connections between space and danger. If one suffers their first panic attack shortly after stargazing, the encounter can fuse with the symptoms. Thereafter, looking at the night sky again elicits dread based on learned associations. Single traumatic events create concrete anchors for anxiety triggers. Personality traits also seem linked to astrophobia. Schizoid tendencies like unease with novelty along with natural introversion predispose some people. Since space represents the farthest reaches of the unknown, those already inclined toward uncertainty avoidance exhibit greater proclivity toward astrophobia. Introverts accustomed to inner reflection may struggle with the concept of infinity more than outgoing individuals. Though not a perfect predictor, innate personality indicates relative risk. Claustrophobia and agoraphobia, as described previously, correlate closely with astrophobic tendencies too. If someone fears enclosed spaces or open spaces, these align with the paradoxical nature of outer space. Wide open yet confining due to isolation, space encapsulates both issues. Being prone to one phobia creates susceptibility to the related fear. The neural pathways for processing discomfort with space develop along similar networks. While trauma and childhood events present conspicuous explanations, hereditary predisposition cannot be overlooked. Like many anxiety disorders, astrophobia includes genetic components. Those whose close relatives have phobias stand a higher chance of developing them. Learned behavior combines with familial DNA during upbringing. Essentially, nature and nurture converge to embed associations between space and fear. Teasing apart these influences remains complex, but both factors contribute risk. Overall, astrophobia appears linked to childhood memories, anxiety disorders, past trauma, introverted personalities, and hereditary likelihood. Pinpointing exact causes proves difficult, but recognizing risk factors provides direction for prevention and treatment. With attentive parenting, therapy, cognitive behavioral training, and medication management, astrophobia follows paths toward conquest like other phobias. Treatments and therapies. Fortunately, astrophobia responds well to treatments implemented for related phobias. Systematic desensitization through repeated positive exposures comprises a core component of therapy. This involves gradual acquaintance with triggering stimuli in a controlled, calm environment. The individual can grow comfortable with space-related themes and pictures through this approach and override ingrained fearful associations. With time, anxiety and panic diminishes in favor of greater peace of mind. Cognitive behavioral therapy also helps by identifying and challenging negative thought patterns. Astrophobics learn to reframe catastrophic thinking styles when it comes to outer space. Discussing fears openly and rationally with a psychiatrist diffuses their potency. Developing coping strategies to self-talk oneself through anxious episodes fosters resilience. Over time, the person weans off overwhelming emotions by logic and objectivity. For panic attacks and acute anxiety flares, medications help stabilize mood. Anti-anxiety drugs like benzodiazepines alleviate temporary symptoms in conjunction with psychotherapy. These pharmaceuticals allay the body's fight or flight response and may be prescribed sparingly for breakthrough symptoms. Avoiding dependence and using medication only as needed allows its proper short-term application. Alternative stress management methods like meditation, yoga, hypnotherapy, and massage therapy encourage relaxation as well. Astrophobics learn to calm mental chatter and physical tension through these avenues. Quieting the mind and releasing stored muscle stress assist alongside traditional talk therapy and medication management. Holistic integration provides maximal support. Beyond professional treatment, self-help tips benefit those with astrophobia too. Joining a support group builds solidarity and reassurance from sharing stories. Keeping a journal about one's journey also externalizes inner thoughts. Listening to music, exercising, and maintaining routines boost overall well-being. Taking time immersed in nature and away from technology centers equilibrium. All these lifestyle adjustments complement clinical therapies. Commitment and patience are required when overcoming any phobia. There is no instant cure, but astrophobia follows patterns similar to related conditions. Relief comes gradually through incremental victories. Smaller steps build toward greater confidence engaging with space themes. Defeating astrophobia requires perpetual effort, yet progress delivers increasing resilience. Maintaining a collaborative and compassionate outlook smooths the process overall. The vastness and wonder of space. Although space may seem empty and terrifying from the limited human perspective, it is also awe-inspiringly vast and beautiful. Gaining an appropriate appreciation of its scale and treasures paints a fuller picture beyond just darkness and solitude. Venturing outdoors on a clear night reveals but a sliver of space's majesty. Each bright point of light represents an entire world as expansive and varied as Earth. Beyond the several thousand stars visible are billions more in the Milky Way and trillions beyond in distant galaxies. Space stretches incredulously far, both day and night. The sun's light takes 8 minutes to reach us. Light from the next nearest star takes over 4 years at 186,000 miles per second. Most stars reside thousands of light years away, meaning even at light speed, it requires millennia for their light to arrive. The Milky Way itself spans 100,000 light years across. Hundreds of billions of stars drift within its spiral arms. Our galaxy is but one among hundreds of billions that comprise the observable universe. Such facts demonstrate the inconceivable scope of outer space. Earth, while feeling stable and ever-present to humans, consists of a minuscule speck in the grand celestial scheme. Arguably, this size differential helps explain astrophobia. How can such relative insignificance not breed unease? Yet from another light, knowing Earth represents just a tiny fraction should alleviate self-importance and life's pressures. Our existence occupies an unimaginably small pinpoint in an enormously larger reality. Beyond its scale, space also teems with phenomenal objects. Nebulae like the Eagle, Orion, and Carina glow with vibrant cosmic gas and dust. These stellar nurseries forge new stars and planetary systems like our own. Dark, behemoth black holes millions or billions of times. The sun's mass bend light and the very fabric of space-time. Quasars shine brighter than galaxies powered by the intense gravity of supermassive black holes. Space itself expands and stretches galaxies away from each other as the universe evolves. Planets of unearthly composition exist unlike anything found terrestrially. Saturn's rings and Jupiter's giant red spot captivate wonder. Icy dwarf planets like Pluto and Eris inhabit the distant Kuiper belt, remnants from our system's formation. Alien moons may conceal subterranean oceans heated by internal friction. Space likely abounds with exoplanets ideally suited to life. The possibilities exceed scientific knowledge or imagination. The celestial realm's beauty accompanies its scale. Auroras glow during solar storms as charged particles rain down magnetic field lines. Comets blaze tails of ionized gas and dust when approaching the sun. Meteor showers like the Perseids sprinkle night skies with fleeting streaks. The aurora borealis and australis comprise shimmering masterpieces of greens, blues, and purples. Witnessing such majesty firsthand makes space feel close yet wondrous rather than empty and isolating. The more known about space through astronomy, the more mysterious and exciting it becomes. Courageously facing its grandeur reveals creativity and inspiration rather than just fear. Its beauty and perpetual novelty amaze when viewed in proper perspective. The heavens showcase nature's splendor from an interstellar vantage. Avoiding space risks forfeiting some of humanity's most enlightening connections with the surrounding cosmos. In summary, astrophobia describes excessive fear of outer space. It qualifies as a phobia from disproportionate dread and life impairment associated with space themes. Astrophobia commonly originates in childhood from traumatic events, personality, or hereditary likelihood. It manifests through panic, anxiety, and avoidance when triggered by thoughts or images of space. Fortunately, gradual systematic desensitization serves as an effective therapy when combined with medications and lifestyle changes as needed. Exploring space's incredible scale and beauty further inspires confronting fear. With concerted effort and professional guidance, even severe astrophobia follows pathways toward recovery. The heavens beckon with inspiration instead of dread through proper therapy. The cosmos showcase nature's ingenuity. Avoiding them forfeits a precious window to life's origins and possibilities. With courage and support, the darkness of space transforms into a canvas for creativity. The stars paint a grander future.